Nintendo is a company that so many people love. They love them for their countless classic games that have defined people's childhoods. Super Mario 64, Mario Kart, The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time. There are so many great classic games from Nintendo that people love, and they really are the most prolific video game publishers of all time. But they also have a totally archaic approach to copyright, and they have for a long time now. They frequently punish those who love and support their projects with additional content for no good reason. So let's talk about it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Tom Dark channel. I'm your host, Tom Dark, and this is Point Crow. He's a gaming YouTuber known for playing various modifications of Nintendo games as well as fan games. For example, this video where he played a particularly difficult mod of a Zelda game, which makes it more like a Dark Souls type thing.
This is one of Breath of the Wild's most difficult, grueling, and unfair mods, and I'm going to play it. So you can see me scream from the dark depths of the unknown while you relax on the couch with a bag of Cheeto dust permeating your shirt. Okay, maybe it was a little too much. Dark Army Resurrection turns Breath of the Wild into a Souls-like game, earning you upgrades for defeating more difficult enemies and disallowing you to heal, teleport, or change items while in battle. And if you die, all your money, souls, and abilities disappear with your life. I just noticed we have 5 hearts. That's how you know it's hard.
The content itself is widely enjoyed by his community and is seen as unique content for YouTube. He stands out from the crowd a bit. He's more interesting than your average Nintendo YouTuber. Well, recently Nintendo decided to file copyright claims, choosing to have a worldwide block on 4 of his videos about Breath of the Wild. He decided to point this out on Twitter and basically ask the community for support in getting these videos back up, as they do not infringe on Nintendo's copyright and are in fact original pieces of content that do not steal from Nintendo sales. They legally are within their right to exist. Well, Nintendo decided to file a bunch more claims against him. Keep in mind, this also resulted in 2 copyright strikes on his channel, which puts it in jeopardy. If you get 3 copyright strikes, your channel becomes at risk for termination by YouTube themselves. This is terrifying for content creators. As I write this, my main channel, Turkey Tom, currently has a copyright strike for what I believe is a fraudulent claim. And this is very frustrating for anyone who is an independent content creator because there's not much you can do about it. You can dispute the claims, which then can either cause the claimant to drop them or pursue legal action against you. For someone like me who has to deal with independent claimants who will not follow through with any legal action, this is a lesser problem because for someone like me, it's very unlikely that they're going to get a lawyer in contact. But if it's a big company like Nintendo, you really don't want to piss them off and cause some kind of court case because even if you're right, going to court with their legal team is not going to be very fun, is it? Even if you win, you then have to countersue for legal damages, which can take years. And Point Crow here is just minding his own business, making videos where he plays modded versions of their games. It's not like he's stealing sales away from Nintendo. It's not like he's encouraging piracy of their games. But he is being shaken down by this billion-dollar company, and for what? Giving them free promotion for their properties on YouTube? In practice, if anything, he's only earning them business, not taking it away. And on top of that, they're now taking down content of Point Crow just playing the vanilla versions of their games. Some speculate this is basically just out of spite to mess with the guy. I mean, there's no good reason to do this to him, or the others they're now copyright claiming.
The most surprising one, though, was a claim from one of my first videos back in 2019, marrying Sidon and a bookshelf to create Hyrule's first car. It's just a regular vanilla gameplay video of Breath of the Wild. These takedowns aren't exclusive to my channel either. Over the course of the next couple days, Nintendo is taking down videos from other channels as well. Croton, another very prominent YouTuber, has had at least 10 live streams and 2 videos removed. Importantly, one of those videos is simply a challenge video, detailing how the game would be played if the player decided to explore Zelda with certain restrictions the player has imposed on themselves. These takedowns may have started with modded content, but they have spiraled into something else entirely.
Okay, so Nintendo just nuked like 12 of my videos off the platform. They're pretty much all streams besides 2 videos. This one's from my Second Wind playthrough, Relics of the Past, Second Wind. Just a lot of them were up. Even a challenge run that had nothing to do with modded content. Yep, a lot more of the streams got nuked. And then my 2 multiplayer videos, the video and the stream, rather. But yeah, all modded stuff they went after, including just 1 challenge run. Like right here, that has nothing modded in it either. But either way, I shouldn't have my stuff taken down. And it feels like they're just using this day with all of the, Tears of the Kingdom press to just suppress people's content, because right now the news is going to be the new Tears of the Kingdom trailer and not this. So, yeah, that sucks.
And this is super frustrating, but it's not even close to the first time Nintendo has behaved in this way by sending out copyright claims, as well as cease and desist to people who make fan-made content. While this most recent wave of claims began with modded content, people making videos about, mods for Super Mario or mods for Zelda or whatever else, now they're just claiming people for no good reason, people who are just playing their games. People have tried to reach out to Nintendo through the contact email listed on the claims and to no avail whatsoever. Some of you may remember when Super Mario Logan was sent a cease and desist by Nintendo, despite just making harmless videos playing with puppets. On February 11th, 2021, the channel was renamed to SML due to Logan receiving a cease and desist from Nintendo, thus forcing Logan to rename all of his channels to remove any mention of the company's popular characters. The letter also forbade Logan to also use the plush versions, which also meant that Logan has to switch to the human puppets from now on, though the channel URL still contains the name Super Mario Logan. Due to the URL still containing the channel's old name and trademark name from Nintendo, it is possible that the original SML channel, along with all of the other SML affiliated channels, including the old second channel, are going to be deleted sometime in the future by Logan at Nintendo's request. And then there's their treatment of fan-made Pokemon games, which were being made for no profit whatsoever. And despite that, they were shut down by Nintendo with threat of serious legal action. The creator of Pokemon Prism, a fan-made hack for Pokemon Crystal that was due to release on Christmas, says he's received a cease and desist from Nintendo and will have to shut down the project for good. On Twitter early this morning, Pokemon Prism creator Cool Boy Man broke the news and shared a copy of the letter he says he received from Nintendo, asking him to stop production of the project. "I'm sorry everyone, but Pokemon Prism is cancelled." Cool Boy Man said, "Thank you for your support. Nintendo has a long history of taking action against fan-made games. Earlier this year, Nintendo filed a DMCA takedown notice against the Metroid 2 remake AM2R. Nintendo also shut down the popular fan game Pokemon Uranium. This cease and desist is another one of Nintendo's strong measures against fan games, which has included large-scale takedowns of fan games and specific action against popular creations and hacks." I mean, Nintendo is so notorious for this that there are entire lists of 10 or more fan-made games that they've shut down. And why? If I or anyone else knows. They seem to have a very archaic understanding of how the internet works with respect to copyright and what actually should justify a legal takedown. Companies like Valve have a totally relaxed policy in regards to fan games, to the point they even hired modders to create their game Team Fortress. The creators originally designed it as a mod for Quake, which is an id Property, and Valve, seeing this, decided to hire them for their company, asked them to make the mod in their software for Half-Life 2, and then release it as Team Fortress Classic, which then evolved into TF2, one of the most popular class-based shooters of all time and one of the defining games of the 2000s. TF2, despite being more than 15 years old, still has a vibrant community of players, tons of fan-made content, and is still going strong in a time when most games would be absolutely dead. It's because of the freedom for creativity that they allow their players that this old IP is still so popular today, with the TF2 community on YouTube being one of the most try-hard in the entire YouTube space. Imagine the good Nintendo would do for their community and their games and their fans if they took this approach instead of constantly antagonizing anyone who tries to use their talents to show their love for Nintendo products. I mean, I wouldn't even be surprised if they start copyright claiming fan art. And every single content creator under the sun is constantly forced to bitch and moan at them a few times a year, not because they want to, not because they dislike Nintendo and their products, because we all want to love Nintendo. We all want to love everything they do. I mean, it seems like they'd be in the perfect boat, right? But instead they just have to piss off their fans a few times a year consistently. Remember when they took down Silva Gunner once again? For no good reason, totally unjustifiably.
Nobody hates Nintendo fans more than Nintendo themselves. Every year, sometimes multiple times a year, Nintendo will lash out and just attack YouTubers who make videos about their games, like the biggest fans. And if they're not attacking YouTubers, they're attacking grassroots tournaments. It's foul. Nintendo has some kind of grudge against people that like their products. They view them as enemies, like terrorists. How dare you enjoy our products this much that you're willing to make content or have tournaments around them? We're putting the kibosh on it.
Like every other game studio and publisher does not act like this. They allow fans to create content and videos about their products because they know that without those fans they would have nothing. Nintendo, meanwhile, seems to have a deep disdain for anyone who they feel mishandles their IPs or makes content they don't personally like 100%, right? The worst part about it is they never actually acknowledge the fans upset at them or make any effort to communicate what is okay and what's not okay. They have a fan content set of guidelines, but as Point Crow points out, he followed them to a T and he still got f***ed. So the communication they do have, even if you do follow it to the best of your ability, you don't break their rules, you don't break what they officially say, guys, listen, do this, don't do that. If you follow that, it doesn't even matter because you can still get fucked and have your career totally destroyed by them, like what's happening with Point Crow right now.
The thing is, without even considering fair use, all of these videos are very clearly in line with Nintendo's own game content guidelines for online video and image sharing platforms, which I will include in the description below. I will also read it for you here. From their FAQ, what types of content are acceptable under the guidelines? What types of content are not acceptable? We encourage you to use Nintendo game content in videos and images that feature your creative input and commentary. For example, Let's Play videos and video game reviews are within the scope of the guidelines. However, you may not simply upload a live stream of an existing Nintendo video, gameplay footage without your own creative input, or a copy of content created by someone else. For example, mere copies of Nintendo promotional trailers, tournaments, music soundtracks, gameplay sequences, and art collections are outside the scope of the guidelines.
If they really don't like modded content or tournaments or something, you'd think they would just communicate this to the people who they don't want to do this, so they wouldn't have to go out of their way to claim this content and waste everyone's time on this. But instead, they'd rather just be silent and hurt the careers of their fans. I don't know if they realize it, but one of their biggest demographics of supporters are these content creators and modders, and by antagonizing them, they basically make people want to not even make content of their games. Imagine if Microsoft gave people copyright strikes for playing modded Minecraft, and how ridiculous that would be. I mean, that would be so insane. And I say this as someone who enjoys Nintendo stuff. You know, I like their games. I grew up playing Mario Kart DS and Super Mario 64. Their products are awesome, but the way they treat creators who support their content is totally archaic and ridiculous. It's unbearably frustrating to me that they do this continually, and it's unbearably frustrating to the entire, online community, the entire gaming YouTube community, right? They're all pissed off at Nintendo all the time. And Nintendo could easily avoid this by just not fucking with people's channels, but they just have to. They can't keep their hands out of the cookie jar on this one.
So here's my explicit message to Nintendo. I love the games that you make, the stories you tell, the ideas that you explore, from giving me the closest moments that I've had with my friends to my mom calling every electronic device I own a Nintendo. You mentioned in your content guidelines that you are humbled every day by the loyalty and passion for Nintendo's games, characters, and world, and respect that we want to be able to express ourselves creatively by sharing our own videos and images using content from your game. And if you truly respect us and are humbled by this community, don't take this creativity away from us.
The point of Point Crow making this video is basically to contact YouTube to get the community on his side, to rile people up, to be like, hey, guys, let's plead with YouTube and be like, hey, guys, stop this behavior. You're ruining your community. I don't deserve this punishment whatsoever. And yet they continue to do this shit for no good fucking reason.
These channels you've targeted, these videos you're claiming are from some of the people that are most passionate about your games. You're stifling that imagination and punishing those who want to share it with others when they do it in the way that you have outlined for us creators. Please remove these strikes and claims, or at least start a dialogue with us so we can figure this out and all move forward with the excitement I'm sure you would love to see about your future games. You have my contact information already from the DMCA and the email that I've sent. I'll be waiting eagerly for your response. So, thanks.
But as of my recording of this video, there's been nothing but radio silence from Nintendo. They have said nothing. And I think the strikes are still on that guy's channel. Thank you all for signal boosting the issues I've been having with Nintendo. Extremely appreciated, and I hope we can open up some sort of dialogue so this doesn't have to happen again. Hope this gets resolved too, so it doesn't have to take up all my waking hours, so I can focus more on just making videos again. And unfortunately at this point, there's nothing else to be done but wait for Nintendo to either calm down with the strikes and claims, or ramp things up even more and destroy their community even more. Point Crow clearly did nothing wrong, and Nintendo, despite their amazing products, have no idea how to handle fan-made content properly and are just pissing off the people who love their stuff. Younger fans will come to love their products, and as they grow older, they'll realize that the company that made their childhood just treats them and everyone who loves their stuff like shit. Okay? And for what gain? For what? Well, for nothing. Maybe someday in the next 100 years, Nintendo will come around, apologize for this behavior, and stop smashing every computer around them with a jackhammer to understand that it's not 1983 anymore. The internet is now the most meaningful and important method of promotion for anything. By stifling people who use the internet to promote your games and properties, you only hurt your own business, not protect it. Some have pointed out Nintendo's worry may be piracy and the potential that these mods can create some kind of loss of sales for their game.
Maybe Nintendo assumes that people are, promoting piracy by using emulation, which, yes, people who do emulate, there are a chunk of them that do also pirate the video game. Just like there's a lot of those people that just back up their original, files like me and play that. At the end of the day, I think what Nintendo is doing is burning too much positive PR by going after somebody who creates content, who revitalizes their brand, and ultimately, gets people hyped up for the next iteration of Zelda. And I think it's a terrible time to be doing this, especially when they got a new Zelda game coming out. But honestly, I think that's where I'm going to end it off at, ladies and gentlemen. When dealing with Nintendo, there is no easy way. Nintendo does not care about you. They do not like you. They do not have any care about you. As long as they keep making money, that's all that'll ever matter. And I think, to be honest with you, if you're a creator, if you're somebody who's on YouTube, maybe don't create Nintendo content, okay? Because the moment you start getting really interesting with your content is the moment they will start going after you.
And that would be valid, but realistically, they're not targeting people who make piracy tutorials. They're not targeting people who teach you how to pirate their games and steal their content. They're targeting a guy who plays altered versions of their games, versions which are not sold for profit, but are played for fun on YouTube. And it's just ridiculous at this point. And honestly, I hate Nintendo, and I think you guys probably do too. Anyway, that's about all I got to say today. Thanks for watching until the end. Smash that like button if you hate Nintendo. Leave a comment down below giving me your thoughts on all of this, and I'll see you all in the next video really soon. Follow my Instagram, TomButDark, for based and pilled pictures. See you all tomorrow. Bye.